Flashcards! Flashcards everywhere! Hello people of the internet, I'm Jontje, I'm autistic, and I'm a student, times 2. I'm studying 2 degrees at the same time. So I have to be pretty organized about my studying and, know what I'm doing. So I'd like to share some of my strategies with you for how studying works, if you're not a picture-perfect neurotypical. So there's going to be 5 tips in total because numbers. But again, in the end, I'm going to comment more on how to use them best. So, make sure you stay till the end and let's get started. So if you haven't already guessed it, my first tip is flashcards. I like to use them because they're less overwhelming to look at than a giant sheet of paper. And you can experiment with the size of them a little. Personally, I like to use the really, really small ones. And I write a question or a term on one side of it and then the answer or a definition on the other side so that I can quiz myself or make someone else quiz me. But there's lots of ways to use them. And my second tip is right in line with the first one, and it's everything's an organizational task. Everything. Starting with writing flashcards. And I've already talked about this in one of my last videos. To me, and I think many other autistics, organizing or other repetitive tasks can be a very calming activity. So turning learning from, while I somehow have to remember all of this, into calm and organization can make things a lot easier. But then there's also the homework. I don't really know why university has homework, but it does. And I'm one of those people who in school never did their homework. Ever. I just forgot. Through my entire school career, I forgot more homework than I remembered. So what I do now is, as soon as I have my timetable, I make a plan. And I plan homework time for every lesson I have. That gives homework, of course. So there's a schedule that I can follow instead of having some need-based mess where I keep having to estimate and prioritize and remember what's due when, and because then it just gets really overwhelming. And if I ever don't have homework for one specific subject, I can either take that time for learning or just have some more free time. But the scheduling doesn't necessarily have to be a certain time. It can be more flexible, like after I come home or after dinner or after I get up. And especially if you have a bit of trouble with executive functions, this can be a great idea because thinking in after I do this, I will do that patterns takes less effort for the brain to initialize a new task than thinking I will do this at a certain time. And on the topic of homework, my 4th tip is homework does not need to be done at home. What a deviant concept. That was sarcasm. Last semester, for example, I did all my homework in the cafeteria. I know that doesn't work for everyone because of noise levels, but being somewhere where there are less distractions can help a lot. And another side benefit to doing homework in the cafeteria is actually that it takes a lot of the pressure of having to sit with other people, which can be very stressing sometimes, at least for me. But more generally, doing your homework before you actually come home is a good idea because then your mind is still in work mode and you're less likely to get distracted. You can even do your homework in the car, in the driveway. And another benefit, and something that I like very much, is that you can get home and you can actually relax because everything you needed to do is already done. And you don't have that sort of stress in the back of your mind that you are gonna need to get up and do something again eventually. And my last tip is having a storing system that works for you. It doesn't have to be pretty or Instagram ready, it just has to work. And I actually use these cardboard folders for each subject. And they have little elastic bands to keep them from falling apart. But you can basically just throw anything you get into them, close them, and it's done. And any other organizational system for me just becomes a giant mess in days. So basing an organizational system on effort rather than, I don't know, beauty is a very good idea. So that's my 5 most important tips for studying, but now you have to actually implement them, and there's so many. Well, actually the best idea is to only pick 1 or 2 of the tips and try to implement those, because you're far more likely to succeed. So pick the tips that you think would be most helpful and rewatch them. There will be a list in the description. So yeah, have you picked your favorite? Great, tell me which one it is in the comments. And do you have any others? Let me know as well. And if you want more tips on how to be autistic or neurodiverse in a neurotypical world, consider subscribing to my channel and maybe also leaving a like. And I will see you soon. Bye!